Live from ABC News Channel 20, your voice, your future, the Springfield Mayoral Debate.
Good evening and welcome to the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate, brought to you by WICS News Channel 20 and WTAX Radio 1240 and 107.5. I'm Adam Reif and I'll moderate tonight's debate. First, let's meet our panelists. On the far right, Alex Degman is news director at WTAX Radio. Alex, thank you. Jordan Abadea is political reporter here at News Channel 20. And closest to me, Joey McLaughlin, host of Newswatch on WTAX in the mornings. And now we'll meet our two candidates. Born and raised in Springfield, Jim Langfelder spent 2 decades in the private sector before he was elected Springfield City Treasurer in 2003, a post he's held ever since. Paul Palazzolo has lived in Springfield his whole life. He was appointed Sangamon County Auditor in 2002, went on to win 3 consecutive terms. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome, Adam. Thank you.
Before we get started, a brief word about the format of tonight's debate. Questions will come from panelists, from viewers, and from listeners. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer. The first to answer each question will also be allowed 30 seconds of rebuttal time. I'll have my eye on the clock and we'll keep the candidates to time. We begin first with opening statements from each candidate. Gentlemen, you have 2 minutes, as we agreed on earlier. We had a coin flip before. Mr. Palazzolo, you won that coin flip and chose to close tonight's debate last. Mr. Langfelder, you'll open first. 2 minutes.
Thank you, WICS and WTAX, for tonight's forum. I'm Jim Langfelder, currently serving as your city treasurer and candidate for mayor. Many of you know me. I'm a lifelong resident of Springfield. I worked my way through and graduated from Lincoln Land Community College and Sangamon State University, now known as UIS. My wife Billy and I have been married for 25 years and we have 3 children. Prior to being elected city treasurer, I've worked in banking for 14 years, helping individuals, businesses, and nonprofit organizations meet their financial needs and grow in our community. Like many of you, I have volunteered being a coach of youth athletics, volunteering for many organizations, and serving as president of the Dana Thomas House Foundation, Leadership Springfield, and the Springfield Center for Independent Living. I decided to seek the office of mayor because I have the sincere desire and passion to do what is best for Springfield. Springfield is a great community, but our city is at a crossroads. We must come together so we can reach our fullest potential as a community, educationally, economically, and recreationally. As your mayor, I'm not going to worry about who gets the credit, moving up the elected ladder, or being re-elected. What I am going to worry about is getting the job done. As your mayor, we will work together so Springfield can reach its fullest potential and be the model city for other cities to follow, especially with regards to trust in city government, race relations, economic development, and city operations. I assure you, as your mayor, the mission and culture of city government will be openness, integrity, and doing what's best for Springfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Langfelder. Mr. Palazzolo, your opening statement, 2 minutes.
And also thanks to WICS, WTAX, and to the viewers for tuning in tonight. Many say there are no differences between my opponent and myself. Well, other than my gray hair, I would also say that there's additional differences that boil down to transparency, trash, electricity, and responsibilities. When it comes to transparency, both personally and professionally, I've been personally willing to release 5 years of my family's personal tax returns. Professionally, my office's website is completely transparent with county audits, budgets, and minutes for the board that I administer. The city treasurer's website is missing the meeting minutes for the police and fire pension boards that, as we know, are severely underfunded. When it comes to trash, your garbage bill does not belong on your CWLP bill. Penalizing those who are in compliance and adding bureaucratic burden for more government will not solve the problem. Many trash customers have specific or random schedules. Our utility does not need this extra helping of bureaucracy on its plate to accommodate the extra questions, complaints, and concerns. What if a ratepayer skips out? CWLP assumes the loss for CWLP, but who assumes the loss for the trash hauler? And there will still be fly dumping that will need the enforcement that I will step up as mayor. Electricity. Right now, we need reliability and low rates to attract new businesses, customers, residents, and jobs to the city of Springfield. Alternative energy is more important to start up. And if there's not enough takers, do we all pick up the tab to start up? When it comes to closing Dolman 1 and 2, we can't afford another Sierra Club accommodation or cave-in. The City Council just invested $2 million to bring these up to standards. It's time for a fresh perspective in city government, and as mayor, I'll lead Springfield to the next level as a great city that just also happens to be the capital of Illinois.
Thank you, gentlemen. Our first question tonight is from Alex Degman. Mr. Palazzolo, you'll answer first.
Gentlemen, good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. We're talking a lot about city water, light, and power, and we have been for some time because they're in a recurring financial mess, especially in the electric fund. The utility says it wants to lower rates while increasing the base customer fee, plus adding a municipal tax, among other ideas. Gentlemen, do you support such an idea? And if not, what's your path to solvency for this utility?
Well, I've talked about how as mayor, I want to bring a professional manager to the CWLP leadership team, an individual who can think strategically to help move CWLP forward. I've also talked about a volunteer board of directors that will help keep the focus on making sure that just as any major corporation has a board of directors, the volunteer board of directors will serve in that capacity. We'll also have an appointed Citizens Advisory Council to help the utility be transparent in all dealings. But when it comes to the alternative energy options, I've talked to voters, and they don't want Jim Langfelder's plan, which will increase rates. Jim's plans are based on alternative energy, which is more expensive. The Sierra Club accommodation of shutting down Dolman 1 and 2 that'll cost us local jobs, and millions that will be spent on startup. We'd have the potential to lose control of our utility by buying power outside of Springfield, and solar startup. If there's not enough ratepayers for individuals who are interested in that option, who picks up the slack? Now, this is what we'll accomplish if I have an opportunity to serve as mayor. We'll bring a strategic leader to the utility, have volunteer advisory board members, and a citizens utility council that will help keep utility rates low.
Thank you, Mr. Palazzolo. Mr. Langfelder?
First, people should go to langfelder2015.com to get the accurate or portrayal of my report. But what I would do as mayor, I had visited Springfield, Missouri, and viewed their plans as what they've done. They've controlled their financial destiny, especially with regards to renewable energy. We are going to spend over $100 million in the city of Springfield because of the wind contracts. We could have built our own wind farm. We could have built a solar farm if we would look to the future. My private sector experience and experience as city treasurer gives me the financial background to lead CWLP. What we don't need is a reoccurrence of what happened in 1998 and 1999 when the utility lost over $50 million with an entrepreneurial general manager. We do not need to go back to that form of electric trade. What I would do is audit CWLP contracts. I would refinance the bonds to save money. I would look to our financial future and control our destiny by looking in 2025. That's when EPA regulations for-profit organizations is going to require renewables of 25%. It won't be far behind when they expect the same out of CWLP, and we will be in the position where we can control our financial destiny so our ratepayers will be the beneficiaries of that plan.
Mr. Langfelder, do you support shutting down Dolman 31 and 32?
I agree with Eric Hobby, General Manager Eric Hobby. After their useful life, we should look at other forms of renewable energy or whatever that plan would be, but make no mistake about it. Coal energy will be the driving force for CWLP, but we need to position ourselves so we can control our financial destiny. If we would have done that with the wind contracts, we would not have been in the financial difficulties that we are today.
Mr. Palazzolo, 30-second rebuttal.
Well, Eric Hobby also said that we need to spend money to bring those generators up to standards. And indeed, the City Council just approved $2 million late last year in order to be able to do that. We need to make sure that that money isn't wasted, and we need to make sure that Dolman 31 and 32 continue to assist the utility to keep rates low. And when it comes to auditing CWLP contracts, I would have urged my friend Jim to make sure that as treasurer, he could have done that any time during his service and called for an audit of CWLP contracts, as well as when he also called for additional utility reports to be able to be out. That could have been done as city treasurer as well.
Thank you, Mr. Palazzolo. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll ask both Paul Palazzolo and Jim Langfelder about transparency in government. Now they plan to grow the local economy. You're watching the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate.
You're watching Your Voice, Your Future, the Springfield Mayoral Debate.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us here on News Channel 20 as well as WTAX 107.5 and 1240 AM. Our next question comes from Joey McLaughlin and concerns transparency in government. Joey?
Mr. Langfelder, Mr. Palazzolo, transparency has already come up in some opening statements and some of the questions this evening, but that's the focus of my first question this evening. It's been on the minds of many Springfield residents with the release of many of the documents from the shredding incident. If you're elected mayor, how do you propose making the city government as transparent as possible?
Mr. Langfelder?
I plan on making the city transparent as I've done as a treasurer. When I first came into office, I'm not going to change my direction becoming mayor. We're here to serve the public, and I'm not transparent because it's an elected year or fashionable. I have been doing it ever since I've been treasurer in 2003. When I first came on, the annual treasurer's report was a continuous form report like computer paper, and I asked why you do that, and they said, well, if someone wanted to find out anything about city finances, they could just dig through that report. Well, I made it reader-friendly so people know what employees earn, where their money's going, and it's available online in a reader-friendly format. I would do the same thing throughout all city government. I followed the Secretary of State standards with regards to record documentation, retention, and disbursement as far as destroying those particular items. You send your information to the Secretary of State, and they let you know when it's permissible to dispose of those documents. I would make sure that all areas of government follow that same guideline, being transparent, being open. If someone wants to file information or needs information, we're going to provide it as expeditiously as possible without filing a FOIA request unless it's to maintain the integrity of individuals' personal identity. But other than that, we're going to provide the information as expeditiously as possible.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Palazzolo?
Well, transparency starts with leading by example. And as I've mentioned, I've been leading by example by releasing 5 years of my family's personal tax returns so that individuals and citizens know who would like to serve them as mayor. The reason I do that is not for any electioneering or any kind of standard gimmick that you might find during a campaign. It's important because as county auditor, I'm very familiar with the situation that happened in Dixon, Illinois, where their controller, Rita Crundwell, was able to siphon away approximately $50 million away from Dixon's financial reserves and financial budget. $2 million spent on a motorhome and horses that you wouldn't believe. It's important that people know who wants to serve them in this role, and that's why I'm releasing my personal family's tax returns for the last 5 years. Professionally, my office's website as your Sangamon County Auditor is completely transparent with county audits, budgets, and minutes for the board that I administer, the Workplace Safety Board. I'm looking for the City Treasurer's website to show us the meeting minutes for the Police and Fire Pension Fund boards that are completely underfunded. Rockford, Joliet, and Urbana, all on their websites for the Police and Fire Pension boards, those minutes are available. I'd like to see those, and we might be able to learn some things.
Mr. Langfelder, 30-second rebuttal.
The Police and Fire Pension boards control the information that's released. As far as what I've done as treasurer is above and beyond what's called for. And we provide the financial reports. That's the most important thing, getting the financial information as far as actuarial analysis and audits onto the website. With regards to other items, I've always been open and transparent. What I find interesting is when individuals release information at the 0 hour during an election. What we need to do is be open all the time, put in checks and balances like I've done with the Treasurer's Office so we can protect the taxpayers' dollars.
Thank you, Mr. Langfelder. Our next question comes from Jordan Abadea.
Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We have heard that Springfield has an aging population, and a lot of young people are actually moving to other cities to start their families and to start their lives. So what specific plans do you have for economic development, and will a recent proposal for a minimum wage increase impact those plans?
Mr. Palazzolo?
As mayor, I'll work hard to bring jobs and new businesses and residents to the city of Springfield. It's important to make sure that you are working and employing what's needed to bring young people here to the city, to keep our city's children and grandchildren 10 minutes away and not 10 hours away. As mayor, here's how I'm going to do that. First and foremost, we're going to keep the current businesses that we have. We also need to look at bringing new opportunities to Springfield as well. For example, we've got Wells Fargo in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who's about to lay off 1,000 individuals. I'd like to pursue that opportunity as mayor, to go up there to Wells Fargo and say, what can we do to bring those Wells Fargo employees that you might be working to relocate? Let's bring them here to Springfield, and let's be open and let's have that conversation to lead that effort. I'll also work hard at marketing Springfield's strengths. There are so many strengths that this city has that we need a mayor who can show what businesses can take advantage of when they come to the city of Springfield. And those strengths are the medical community, the educational community, including UIS and LLCC. There are a number of ways that I'll work hard as mayor to bring new business opportunities to the city of Springfield.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Langfelder?
What I would employ is what we call target employment sectors. And that's where you group like industries together so we can determine what prohibits their growth. For instance, with the medical community, we'd have the hospitals working together as well as Springfield Clinic and the physicians to identify what issues are prohibiting their growth so we can expand those industries greater and then also bring in and attract businesses that feed into that particular industry. We'd also work with the education community, especially University of Illinois, Springfield, Lincoln Land Community College, School District 186, and we would make sure that we are having an educated, trained workforce to take on the living wage jobs that we'll create as a community. Another item that I pointed out is I'm going to focus on economic development. Right now there's no committee within city government that helps with that initiative. I presented a Community Development Finance Commission that will work with the Office of Economic Development to prioritize TIP projects and areas, as well as with planning and moving our city forward with regards to retention, attraction, and expansion of businesses.
Candidates, quickly, a minimum wage increase, would that hurt or help your plans for economic development?
30 seconds, Mr. Langfelder, go ahead.
I'm for a minimum wage with regards to the state government, what's directed by them. What we want to do is grow as a community. I'm a firm believer that the business sector will provide living wage jobs, and basically what I'm going to focus on is our interior, the heart of our city, to make sure that the heart of our city, which is the downtown area, near North End, East Side, that we can grow those areas that would help School District 186 and develop living wage jobs within those targeted areas.
Thank you, Mr. Palazzolo. 30 seconds.
A minimum wage increase would be harmful to businesses who are trying to help as many people as possible be employed. As mayor, I'll streamline city regulations to help speed up projects so that they're moving at the speed of business rather than the speed of government. That means being business friendly and reducing hurdles for businesses.
Thank you, gentlemen. Coming up after the break, we'll take some questions from the viewers and listeners. Plus, we'll discuss some racial issues in the capital city. And later, the candidates will address each other directly. All that and more coming up on the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate. Welcome back. Our next question in the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate will come from a viewer named Richard. Mr. Langfelder, your answer first. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Richard. I'm from Springfield, Illinois, and I would like to ask our mayor candidates how they're going to support small businesses in Springfield, Illinois. Also, we're concerned about all the businesses and the houses being boarded up on the east side of Springfield and how they're going to address this problem.
Mr. Langfelder, go ahead.
First and foremost, my priority is to develop the heart of the city. Our target areas would be the interior of Springfield. If you look at Springfield, the outside perimeter is growing, but we need to focus on our interior areas, which has impacted by the dilapidated housing. Two core issues that I would address. One is have a housing council that would bring together all the housing organizations that currently many times work individually. We'd bring them together so they work collectively. A couple of things I've done on the private sector is the Kings Court project, which is located right across from Channel 20. It used to be a dilapidated area. I worked with Pastor Doss to get grant funding for that particular project, and now it's a gated community that's thriving and paying property taxes to the city of Springfield. Another housing development I helped with was the John Hay Homes project. Mayor Karen Hassera appointed me to a charrette that led the transformation from John Hay Homes to the Madison Park Place, and I helped also in the private sector get them a grant for their infrastructure. Another initiative I would have is a live, work, home ownership program that would allow individuals an incentive in those areas that live in the area, receive an incentive to purchase properties in those targeted areas.
Thank you, Mr. Palazzolo.
I know Richard makes a mean bowl of chili too, and if you get a chance to enjoy it, it's very good. But there's more than commissions when it comes to economic development. As mayor, I'll attract businesses that play to Springfield's strengths so citizens don't have to work 2 jobs just to get by. As mayor, I'm going to be the city's salesperson in chief, and I won't need to send staff to certification classes to bring in new businesses. When it comes to helping the east side, we have to help all sides of the city of Springfield by attracting new jobs, businesses, customers, and residents to the city of Springfield. We need to market our strengths. We need to make sure that we're promoting what we have in Springfield to bring new businesses to the city of Springfield, and I intend to do that.
Mr. Langfelder, 30-second rebuttal.
Well, I've led by example, as I pointed out. My targeted sectors would help grow the area, attract new businesses, especially with regards to educational community, the medical community, small and large businesses. I've done it on the private sector, and I will share those same philosophies on the business sector. What we need to do is have a bottoms-up approach where we get impact or community input instead of the mayor dictating what projects need to be done. I'm going to rely on the community to provide direction so it provides for a cohesive, comprehensive strategy for developing our areas.
Thank you, sir. Our next question from Jordan Abadea.
Gentlemen, with the recent events happening across the country highlighting the need for diversity, how as mayor would you make sure that you're going to tend to race relations here in the city and make the city government more inclusive?
Mr. Palazzolo?
Well, it's time for a new chapter in the land of Lincoln because what we've been doing really hasn't been working. As mayor, I'll appoint a full-time professional diversity director who will lead change in city government and look at our workforce to help us make sure that we're representative of the entire community. A diversity director will also raise awareness for diversity in city government as well as private businesses. We'll attract diverse businesses, engaging leaders to bring their opportunities and businesses to the city of Springfield. And I'll lead an expansion of Grow Our Own, a successful program that was templated by Hanson Engineers, where young people of all races have an opportunity to learn professions that they would like to be involved with and why they would want to come back to Springfield and be employed by those firms in Springfield that employ those particular skills. I'd like to have a diversity director work on expanding Grow Our Own to professions beyond engineering, like at Hanson Engineers, to include accountancy and perhaps even education and municipal government. Unfortunately, when it comes to diversity and a diversity director, my opponent does not believe that it deserves full-time attention. We're going to restructure city government and appoint individuals who can serve us in this regard and move forward effectively.
Mr. Langfelder?
What's important to realize is how city government operates. And what's crucial is to make sure our Office of Community Relations, which deals with discrimination, maintains that authority. And I will maintain that office and raise the level because that is our representative for diversity. Any issues internally within government or externally within government that come up, you can go to the Office of Community Relations to report it and we will act on it. With regards to diversity, I'm going to be the diversity director. I'm not going to hire somebody. I'm the one responsible, and I've done that by leading by example in the private sector, and I will bring those same talents to government. Specifically, with regards to hiring practices, we would put in place, like I've done when I was CRA coordinator, helping low and moderate income areas, making sure they're not discriminated against with banking. I bring those same practices to city government, making sure that we do have anti-discriminatory, fair practices with regards to hiring. In addition, I would partner with School District 186 like I did with Lanphier High School on the private sector. We would form a partnership with government and School District 186 to show students career opportunities available within city government and appeal to them so they know what they need to do if they would like to receive a position within city government. Next, I would also include labor practices, so we review the agreements to make sure city government is following all labor agreements that they have agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Palazzolo. 30-second rebuttal.
From my experience, leadership shows that you get talented people into the right seats. And as mayor, you'll find the leadership that we'll be using to put the right people in the right seats on this particular train, and finding a person of talent and skill and experience to serve as diversity director to help us accomplish that goal.
Thank you, gentlemen. Another quick break here on News Channel 20, as well as for the listeners on WTAX 107.5 and 1240. When we come back, we'll ask the candidates about race relations, and later in the show about improving the infrastructure in the capital city. You're watching the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate.
You're watching Your Voice, Your Future, the Springfield Mayoral Debate.
Welcome back to the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate. Our next question comes from Alex Degman and concerns hiring in the city government. Mr. Langfelder will answer first. Alex?
Gentlemen, the city payroll has shrunk fairly significantly, depending upon who you ask, since Mike Houston took office. Do you think the city currently has enough employees to carry out essential functions? And should you be elected, would your goal as mayor be further reduction to save some more money?
As mayor, I'll do what I had done as treasurer, and that is live within our means each and every year. I've always balanced the budget, actually returning dollars back to the corporate fund. When times were tough, I left positions vacant and actually have downsized by eliminating a position at city treasurer. I have taken a pledge that I will not create any new position within city government for the first year of taking office. I'm going to review each and every department. We are going to change the way we do business so we can streamline operations, operate efficiently, and do what we are here to do, serve the public within our means and providing the best service possible.
And are there any city departments that you can think of right now that you would be looking at first?
I'm going to meet with each director of every department, and specifically what I'm going to do is work with CWLP and making sure that there's no duplications of services with regards to CWLP and city administration. And we are going to fine-tune that and become more streamlined with regards to efficiencies and working together as a city government.
Mr. Palazzolo?
Well, I would applaud the City Council in the last 4 years for enacting a cap of 1,500 employees on city government. I think that was a fiscally prudent move, and I applaud that effort, and we would make sure that we abide with that effort as we move forward serving as mayor of the city of Springfield. And as county auditor, I've been a part of county government that has operated both with fiscal responsibility and transparency. And when it comes to lowering headcount, even in county government, we're down 100 positions even after we had the chance to merge with the city of Springfield's public health department. We have a track record of success in this regard in county government. We know how to serve the taxpayer and more with less. That's how I'll serve as mayor of the city of Springfield as well. When we've had those fiscal crisis crunches in 2008 and 2009, we worked hard with the directors in county government to cut back expenses 5% each in 2 fiscal years. This is a track record of success that, as mayor, you'll find being enacted in city government because of my experience with the fiscal responsibility successes that comes from county government.
And Mr. Palazzolo, you talk about things like implementing a professional manager at CWLP and hiring a full-time diversity director. Are these positions the city absolutely needs to have right now? Can the city afford to add on those people to payroll?
I believe the city can afford these positions to help bring the city to a level that will be attractive to new businesses, new jobs, and new customers and residents of the city of Springfield. A lot of the current positions can be repurposed to focus on some of the positions that I'm offering in a leadership role to strategically move the city forward. And also, too, with the general manager at City Water, Light and Power, there are functions at City Water, Light and Power that can be repurposed and those dollars applied to what we need to bring back a general manager to CWLP, again, to make sure that rates are low and that the city is attractive to new businesses.
Mr. Langfelder, 30-second rebuttal.
We are going to work smarter and harder and more efficiently as a city government under the Langfelder administration. That's what we're here to do, and that's the direction I'm going to take. I led by example as city treasurer. We're going to do it citywide each and every year, balance the budget with CWLP and the city operations on the corporate side, and do it efficiently and effectively to serve you, the citizens of Springfield.
Thank you, gentlemen. Another quick break here on News Channel 20 as well as WTAX Radio. When we come back, we'll ask the candidates about improving the infrastructure in the capital city. Plus, the candidates will go head-to-head and ask questions of each other. You're watching the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate. Welcome back to the News Channel 20 WTAX 2015 Mayoral Debate. Question now from Joey McLaughlin.
Mr. Palazzolo, Mr. Langfelder, Springfield roads have taken a beating this winter. And its infrastructure is just generally showing its age. Now, there's already a plan for infrastructure that's in place. How do you, if you're elected mayor, plan to keep those improvements going? And what areas do you believe are most in need of improvement?
Mr. Palazzolo?
Thanks, Joey. Here's what I'll do as mayor with regards to infrastructure. First, on day one, I'll launch a volunteer review to ensure that taxpayer dollars for infrastructure are being spent wisely and fairly to benefit each ward. Secondly, I will finish the 11th Street corridor, connecting our educational hub, University of Illinois Springfield and Lincoln Land, to the downtown. That will do a couple of things. That will allow students who would like to reside downtown and be afforded that expedient opportunity to be able to do that, and that can begin the development process along the 11th Street corridor. Thirdly, as mayor, I'll fund a public-private partnership for broadband Wi-Fi, and I'll work on finding that as mayor to grow residential, the base, and the commercial base. And as mayor, I will finish aisles and arch your elevators so you're not sliding in the ditch when you're on your way to Rotary Park or the Carasotis Y. If we don't grow Springfield, we're not going to solve our problems with infrastructure. And as mayor, I'll be working to grow Springfield.
Mr. Langfelder.
The 11th Street extension and also Stanford are on the, should be in process in 2015 and 2016. So as mayor, I will make sure that those continue on their goals, and those have been planned for years. Another area I'd look at is with urban flooding. We need to do something with regards to our sewer conditions. So I would also fulfill the 3-year obligation to do bonds next year as mayor and continue that effort, but also work with the sanitary district to see how we can have a strategic plan to move forward to the future, not only our immediate goals, but also our future goals to alleviate any flooding issues that we have. Next, I would also work with the aldermen, neighborhoods, and businesses in each ward developing individual ward plans, strategic plans, so they can prioritize projects and provide feedback on issues they are facing as a ward, and those would feed in collectively with our overall city plan for growth and strategic planning with the city of Springfield. Next, with regards to Wi-Fi, CWLP already has the infrastructure in place. What I would do is put an emphasis on Wi-Fi for downtown and distressed areas that need that type of incentive for individuals to create businesses and jobs within those targeted sectors and areas that I've previously discussed.
Joey, a follow-up?
Mr. Langfelder, economic development has been a recurring theme this evening. How do you make sure that new development has the infrastructure support that it needs?
Well, what you need to do is create that incentive. First and foremost, CWLP used to be used as an incentive. And what has happened, we used to provide the most affordable rates in the state of Illinois. Now we're among the highest. As mayor, it's my goal to return CWLP back to its mission of reliable and affordable electricity and water to the citizens of Springfield. I have the plan presented that will do that, and that's what I will do as mayor and provide those incentives for our targeted areas.
Mr. Palazzolo, how does infrastructure affect economic development in Springfield?
Well, as I mentioned earlier about 11th Street, that will certainly be an infrastructure project that will impact economic development. And I think my friend Jim said it best at the beginning of his remarks on infrastructure when he said that 11th Street has been planned for years. As mayor, I'll make sure that it gets completed and move forward for economic development in that regard.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's now time for the candidates to ask questions of each other. You'll have 90 seconds to answer. Mr. Palazzolo, you will ask a question of Mr. Langfelder first, and then we'll reverse.
Well, Jim, your office administers the pension board, and pension board meetings are not on the treasurer's website. Is that because it would disclose the travel approved for trustees to go to Las Vegas, Palm Springs, Miami, and Hawaii, where you also went, that cost the pension funds a 6-figure amount?
Not at all. The reason the minutes aren't there is because they're available upon request, as you have done. But with regards to travel, it's important that individuals learn from others. And what I've done as treasurer is save the pension fund hundreds of thousands of dollars based on my financial expertise. Specifically with regards to conferences, what we have done is learn from others. They wanted to put a program in place for the pension fund, and we learned from Houston, Texas, where they were going on the verge of bankruptcy if we went that direction. So we opted not to. We've also, as far as myself, my own talents, I did an RFP for a management consultant that would provide expertise with our fund. And since going that direction, we have turned around the pension fund with regards to growth of investments. What's important to remember about pension funds is the state dictates, or they set the precedents with regards to benefits and any type of calculations that come to the pension funds. What the city council does, they allocate the funds that are going into the investment pool. So my responsibility as treasurer is investing those dollars per the direction of the board. And we've done that prudently and efficiently, and we have grown since I've been treasurer by nearly $100 million in the pension fund.
Mr. Langfelder, your question for Mr. Palazzolo.
At a public forum before the primary, you stated that you supported the governor's plan to establish right-to-work zones. Why have you reversed your position on that issue?
Well, that's not a reversal, Jim. I was very clear in saying that I do not believe that right-to-work zones have any priority to be on the agenda for the city of Springfield. I have personally said that it is a distraction, and that was my position from the beginning at that forum that evening and continually throughout the campaign. Right to work is not something that will benefit the city of Springfield, city government in the city of Springfield, and I was clear that evening, and I continue to be clear again. It is not something that we will engage in or pursue, and it has no place in moving forward and helping to attract new businesses and jobs and residents to the city of Springfield.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Another time, for another quick break. When we come back, we'll hear another question from the viewers and listeners, and the candidates will get to make their final pitch when we wrap things up. Stay with us on the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate.
You're watching Your Voice, Your Future, the Springfield Mayoral Debate.
Welcome back to those listening on 1240 WTAX as well as 107.5. You're watching the 2015 Springfield Mayoral Debate. Our final question tonight comes from a viewer named Linda. Let's take a look. Linda asks, what do the candidates plan on doing with the sewer backups into basements all over Springfield? Mr. Langfelder, you'll go first.
What I would do is work with the Office of Public Works. Know they've worked on it. Unfortunately, what happens when you have a deluge of rain, it comes up and it can impact any area at any time. So that is a high priority. Some areas, sewer system and other water, clear water as far as rainwater goes in the same system. What we'd like to do is split that off. It's a costly process. That's why I would work with the sanitary sewer district to identify ways that we can work together to alleviate those areas. Not only for the intermediate area, but also for our long-term future. That's what we need to do, is work collectively as a community to prevent issues like that from happening. We are going to focus on how to get the job done. That's why I'm going to work with each individual alderman and individuals within each ward to come up with plans, strategic plans to address the issues you face. So it's not only with flooding, but if there's any type of security issue, infrastructure, we're going to get feedback from you to prioritize those projects so we can better serve you, the public.
Mr. Palazzolo?
There are a couple reasons and ways that Mayor Palazzolo will work to address the sewer problem. First and foremost, we will see and hear firsthand through our ward walks and neighborhood visits just exactly what sewer problems exist so that we can address them and ensure that we are fixing immediately what problems are occurring with a long-term plan as well as a short-term plan. Additionally, we do need to work together with the Springfield Metro Sanitary District. There's a lot of expertise that they can offer in terms of addressing the sewer problem, and when we can streamline services in that regard, that helps move the city of Springfield forward as well as the other units of government that are serving us. We can work together to address the issue and make some progress.
Mr. Langfelder, 30-second rebuttal.
One other area that I would improve upon is through my economic development plan, what I would do to help those areas and other areas impacted is take a percentage of our growth from property taxes and sales tax base, and we would, with the City Council, determine what percentage should be utilized for infrastructure improvements. Because as those areas grow under my plan, what we need to do is make sure that we maintain the infrastructure and sewer development to prolong that growth.
Gentlemen, we have time for a question from Jordan Abadea.
Gentlemen, the governor's budget plan cuts the municipality's share of the tax money from the state in half. How would you plan on dealing with losing that amount of money? It's a very large sum for the city of Springfield.
Go ahead, Mr. Palazzolo.
Well, and thank you. The goal is, we've already learned that the first set that would have happened before June 30th is not going to happen. So we'll be looking ahead if the governor and the General Assembly will indeed, if they can hypothetically make that happen, we'll have to see how that goes. But from county government, again, we've learned to do more with less. When we were facing potential financial crises in 2008 and 2009, we were able to work with the directors in county government to reduce expenses across the board by approximately 5%. That's an effective measure that we can apply to the city of Springfield as well. And as mayor, you'll see fiscal responsibility being engaged as we lead the city of Springfield. But indeed, it's not just cuts. It's growing ourselves out of a problem that can be addressed. As mayor, you'll see Palazzolo out to be the salesperson in chief for the city of Springfield and leading to bring new businesses, jobs, and customers and residents to the city of Springfield. That's an important way that we can market Springfield's strengths to potential businesses that we want to come.
Mr. Langfelder?
First, what I would do is meet with the governor. Springfield is in a unique situation. We have a lot of government state buildings that don't pay property taxes. The state of Illinois had agreed to purchase 50% of our wind contracts and have not fulfilled those agreements. So what I would do is meet with the governor to ask for a reprieve with regards to any cut in income taxes, and I will work with the governor with regards to the agreement that the state had with regards to the wind contracts. So we would work together. He's a private sector individual coming from the private sector as I do. He would listen to those common sense issues and relieve us of that. But if not, I would lead it like I had with the Treasurer's Office. I've always operated within budget, even when times were tough, and we would hold the line on expenses with regards to city government, both at CWLP and the corporate fund. Just like you have to do at your home, we will do so as city government as well.
Gentlemen, thank you both. It's now time for closing arguments. Each candidate will have 1 minute. And Mr. Langfelder, we will start with you.
Again, thank you for hosting today's forum. My whole life has been built on the importance of family and community. Springfield is a great community, but we can make it greater for everyone. Our community is like a family. When one is suffering, we all suffer. We must work together so Springfield can reach its fullest potential economically, educationally, and recreationally. My vision for Springfield is that we are the model city for others to follow, especially with trust in government, community relations, CWLP, and also economic development. As mayor, what I'm going to worry about is getting the job done and doing what's best for Springfield. I ask you to pass along to your friends and family to do what's best for the city's future. Please vote for me. I'm asking for your vote. Jim Langfelder for mayor, best for Springfield. Thank you.
Mr. Palazzolo.
My friends, it's time for Springfield's next chapter, and it's the right time for a fresh perspective, a strong voice, and a solid record of success to lead our city forward. I've had the privilege of serving you as your Sangamon County Auditor for 12 years. I've also led many organizations within the city of Springfield as well, as also one of the largest volunteer service organizations in the world with 600,000 members in 80 countries. These valuable experiences have prepared me to serve as Springfield's next mayor. And here's what that means for citizens. As county auditor, I've led new initiatives that have had a solid track record of fiscal responsibility, and I'll continue that as mayor. As president of Kiwanis International, I brought people together to accomplish goals. You'll see that as mayor. And as a volunteer leader for the Salvation Army and the Urban League and the Hoagland Center, I work to focus on having Springfield be attractive, to focus on education, safety, and helping Springfield move forward. I ask for your vote on April 7th.
Jim Langfelder, Paul Palazzolo, thank you very much for your time and joining us this evening. I also want to thank our panelists, Jordan Abadea, Alex Degman, and Joy McLaughlin for joining us, all the listeners at WTAX Radio, and all of you who joined us here on News Channel 20. Again, the general election Tuesday, April 7th. Polls open at 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. For more information on polling locations, our website, WICS.com or WTAX.com. I'm Adam Reif. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
Thanks for watching the Springfield Mayoral Debate on ABC News Channel 20. This is News Channel 20 at 6.
Good evening. 161 days ago, lawmakers were sworn into the General Assembly here in Springfield. Their chief task, passing the state's next budget to keep agencies up and running and providing services throughout the land of Lincoln.
But now, with just hours left before Illinois' current budget expires, it looks like the state will enter its new fiscal year without a new budget in place. It was back on January 14th when the 99th General Assembly was sworn in. Months of negotiations between Democrats and Republicans failed to produce a budget deal, as Governor Bruce Rauner proposed billions of dollars worth of cuts in services to balance the budget, and Democrats look to increase revenue to preserve those services. Well, on May 26, just 5 days before session was supposed to end, Democratic lawmakers sent Governor Rauner a budget plan to fully fund those services, but with a multi-billion-dollar deficit. Governor Rauner approved a plan that would increase funding to school districts for the first time in years last Wednesday, but vetoed the rest of the budget the very next day. For now, lawmakers will be in what's called continuous session until a budget deal is reached. News Channel 20's State House reporter Jordan Abadea live at the Capitol now with where Illinois and its residents can expect to go from here.
At one point, the Speaker's staff
Stacey, the House just adjourned a few minutes ago. They spent the entire day in a committee of the whole hearing from people who would be impacted by a government shutdown. They also were supposed to hear from agency directors about their plans for that shutdown, but those directors never showed up. Meanwhile, as all of this was happening, the Democrats announced that they will put in place a bill tomorrow that they plan to vote on that is a temporary budget. They're calling it an essential services budget. Democrats are working on a $2.2 billion temporary budget to fund what they call essential state services. That measure has 13 different state agencies getting money for things like programs for the elderly, Medicaid, treatment services for the mentally ill, and addiction treatment. Speaker Madigan says the temporary budget would take care of the most needy while allowing more lawmakers more time to negotiate.
The design, the purpose here is to provide that we would avoid the government shutdown. So there were plenty of opportunities to avoid the government shutdown. The governor could have used his powers under the Constitution to refashion that budget. They have an opportunity to vote on this essential services budget tomorrow, which would keep the government open, keep the government functioning.
We asked the governor's office today what he would do with a temporary budget. They referred us to a previous statement reading, quote, an unbalanced short-term budget with no real reforms is still a phony budget and unacceptable to the people of Illinois. If Speaker Madigan and the legislators he controls have any interest in real reform and compromise to grow the economy and an era of wasteful spending and broken budgets. Now, the governor's office says it's also important to note that they haven't seen this budget. They don't know what it looks like. But today, the speaker says that he has heard that some Republicans might even vote for that temporary budget tomorrow. Live at the Capitol, Jordan Abadea, News Channel 20.
Now, those state agency heads are not the only people who are a no-show at the State House today. For the second time in 2 weeks, House Democrats were asking the governor's office to testify on how much his staffers make. And for the second time in 2 weeks, the governor's office didn't show up. Representative John Bradley, a Democrat from Marion, charged Rauner's office last week with spending $1 million more on staff than predecessor Pat Quinn. While the governor's office was a no-show today, it did send Bradley a letter calling his numbers inaccurate. This caused a brief dispute between Democrats and Republicans.
If you don't respect this institution, the House of the people, how can you ever expect to get done what needs to get done?
It's my understanding that we as the minority party have not yet seen a copy of whatever numbers you are using to say that the governor's office is wrong.
Rauner's team also told Bradley they hope House Democrats will return to the negotiating table for the state budget. Bradley says he will continue to ask the governor's office to testify on the staffers' salaries.
In tonight's Crime Watch, investigators tried to figure out if a crime was committed in Montgomery County when a woman stabbed and killed her boyfriend. It happened Monday night in Witt, south of Nokomis on Route 16. News Channel 20's Lindsay Hess joins us in studio now with why the woman says she did it and the unusual spot she was found after it happened.
The Montgomery County Undersheriff tells us around 8 o'clock last night, the county's 911 service received a call that a woman was injured at Witt City Hall, screaming and covered in blood. 23-year-old Christy Stevens says her boyfriend, 41-year-old Richard Green, attacked her at their home in the 200 block of Mitchell Street. She says she stabbed Green once to protect herself and her 2-year-old child. Green was pronounced dead just after 8 p.m.
There had been reports by the city police of Witt of other incidents there between those two in a domestic relationship.
Investigators say Stevens spent the night at Hillsborough Area Hospital. She was released this morning. The child was not hurt. So far, no charges have been filed. Coming up tonight on News Channel 20 at 10, hear from a Witt resident who says she saw Stevens last night moments after Stevens says she fought for her life. Back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Mayor Jim Langfelder has tabbed a familiar face as Springfield's next police chief. The mayor announcing today current chief Kenny Winslow will retain the job. Winslow has been with the department since 1995 and the chief since February of 2014. That after Robert Williams retired amid the internal affairs shredding scandal. Winslow says he'll be focusing on minority hiring and community policing.
The biggest thing for us right now is, last summer with everything that happened down in Ferguson, it brought a lot of stuff to the forefront, and it made us look and see what we had been doing and what we could definitely do better.
Winslow says for now he plans to meet with businesses and residents to look into where community relations could be improved. And make sure to join us tomorrow morning on News Channel 20 Sunrise as we sit down live with new Chief Kenny Winslow as well as Mayor Jim Langfelder to talk about the direction of the police department. Again, that live interview tomorrow morning on News Channel 20 Sunrise in 6:30.
New at 6, improving communication and trust with the African American community. It's been a major focus for the Decatur Police Department. Well, their latest efforts include working with the NAACP Decatur branch to form a response team. It's called Area Leaders and Educators, or ALERT. The group includes 12 black leaders in Decatur schools, churches, and neighborhoods. They will be on hand to deal with major issues between law enforcement and the African American community. The police department is hopeful this will be the start to building trust and developing an open dialogue.
I could tell them why the police officer had contact with this person, what type of use of force was used on the person, whether we're investigating internally or externally. Get that information put out to the public so no one's wondering what's going on inside the building here at the police department.
Decatur Police Chief Brad Sweeney and the local NAACP President Janelle Norman says the idea of the alert response team, it started back in January after Norman questioned how the department planned to handle high-profile cases.
Well, a very good Tuesday evening, Central Illinois. I'm Storm Team 20 meteorologist Joe Crane. Yeah, we've enjoyed a good amount of sunshine here this afternoon around these parts. There's a live view across the capital city, courtesy of the Prairie Heart Institute Tower Cam. But you didn't think we could avoid the rain altogether on this final day of June, did you? Late this afternoon, a little line of isolated showers and thunderstorms bubbled up just to the south of Lincoln, over toward east central Illinois. The first little cell just southeast of Lincoln is pretty much dissipated already. But we are still seeing some scattered showers into east central and southeastern Illinois. Seeing a line of showers and storms around the Mattoon and Charleston area pushing their way to the southeast at the moment. Eventually, as we go through the night, we'll see things quiet down with increasing clouds toward daybreak and better chance of scattered showers and storms tomorrow. Coming up, we'll let you know if the rain hangs around for your 4th of July weekend, all right here on News Channel 20 at 6.
And as you try to stay dry this summer, you can count on News Channel 20 to have the latest weather forecasts. You can find them anytime on our website, newschannel20.com. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Still ahead, the measure laid out by President Obama today that could make it easier for employees to get overtime pay, and why small businesses say it's not a good idea.
Plus, lawmakers at the Capitol honor Springfield's own NBA MVP. Donnie Tillman has more on the resolution to celebrate Andre Iguodala's accomplishments coming up in sports.
And got tips? The Waste Watch team is ready to investigate. Send your ideas to wastewatch@wics.com. You're watching News Channel 20 at 6. We're back in a moment.
Memorial Medical Center Heart and Vascular Services Tower Cam, overlooking Lake Springfield.
Welcome back. President Obama announcing today a plan that would make it easier for hourly employees to earn overtime pay.
The proposal could affect more than 5 million workers nationwide. News Channel 20's Brendan Collerton here now with what that means for Springfield and how it could change the job market. Brendan?
The overtime threshold hasn't been raised since the 70s, but it would increase to $50,000 a year. That's if the president has his way. The average Springfield household is under that mark at about $49,000 a year, but small business owners say the rule could hurt those it's trying to help. President Obama says increasing the overtime threshold is long overdue and will help middle-class Americans get paid for their work. But the National Federation of Independent Businesses says the move will hurt small business owners.
When government intervenes and tells small business owners what they have to do, this minimum wage, paid sick leave, again, while they all sound like great things, there's only so much money to go around.
Kim Maish with NFIB says the proposal would force businesses to make other cuts that would offset the benefit of more pay.
In terms of where they might cut back on hours, they might lay people off, they might just not fill that position that's open. They themselves, as the owners, might work even more than they're already working.
Dean of the UIS College of Business, Ronald McNeil, says he thinks businesses will make adjustments to avoid shelling out overtime pay, but the proposal could have other benefits with businesses reallocating those hours.
So it may not help that segment it was designed to help as much, but it may help another group even more, people that don't have a job to be part-time, people that are working not fully employed at 40 hours a week to get 10 additional hours.
But McNeil says all predictions right now are just speculation.
You have those that say the companies are going broke. You have those that say, oh, well, this is great, we'll make more money. Then you have those that say, okay, we're going to adjust this way, part-time, hire more people.
And he says it would probably take a full year with the plan in effect to more accurately judge its impact. The president's proposal would be a rule change, meaning he would not need congressional support to enforce it. The Department of Labor estimates the measure would make almost half of salaried Americans eligible for overtime instead of the less than 10% it is now. Back to you.
Thank you, Brendan. As we head to break, we take a live look of the capital city. Sunshine streaming down after a very pleasant day, but there are some rain chances in the forecast before we get to what could be a very nice weekend. Joe's in next with the forecast, but first, here are today's closing market numbers.
Now, your Storm Team 20 weather with meteorologist Joe Crane.
Thank you, Johnny. A live look across the capital city, courtesy of the Prairie Heart Institute Tower Cam. We've enjoyed a decent amount of sunshine today, and tonight Jupiter and Venus will culminate a month-long dance with what astronomers say will be a dazzling display in the nighttime sky, appearing just a fraction of a degree apart from one another in the night sky, despite the fact that in reality they're millions of miles apart in space, a show that some astronomers say could account for the Star of Bethlehem mentioned in the Bible. These two planets won't be aligned up like this again until 2023. So hopefully tonight the skies will stay clear enough around 9-10 o'clock tonight so you can look to the west-northwest shortly after sunset to see what promises to be a dazzling display. But again, clouds, the big question mark for later tonight. I know Adam Wright's going to stay up and watch it, right? Yeah, always do. All right, why sleep indeed. The temperatures now in the upper 70s to low 80s, 80 right now in Champaign and Decatur, 69 down down to 69 in Mattoon, where they're seeing that rain shower. 82 in Effingham, 82 as well in Lincoln, 80 now in Jacksonville. We have 83 degrees officially in the capital city after a high that topped out at 85, just 1 degree shy of the normal high of 86, but well short of the record high of 102, going all the way back to 1931. It's been a little bit on the muggy side as well, upper 60s to low 70s in parts, but at least we've had generally some winds picking up to about 10 to 15 miles per hour to moderate the influence of that higher heat and humidity, relatively speaking, for some folks here this afternoon as winds continue to pick up to about 9, 10, upwards of 12 miles per hour. Cold front heading our way. That's going to be the focus for increased chances of showers and storms coming our way tomorrow. Of course, we had a good amount of sunshine around the area today, but you didn't think we'd avoid the raindrops altogether, did you? Well, satellite radar at the local level showing a line of isolated showers and thunderstorms popping up here in the last hour and a half to 2 hours just to the southeast of Lincoln. That cell pretty much falling apart, but we're still seeing an active cell where that temperature's dropped down to 69 degrees in Mattoon. Those showers and storms in the vicinity of Charleston, Mattoon, pushing to the southeast toward the Interstate 70 corridor into southeastern Illinois as we speak. Forecast model for the rest of the night, maybe a spotty shower here this evening. Clouds a big question mark here as we get to around 9, 10 o'clock tonight to be able to see Jupiter and Venus lined up in that stellar intergalactic display. And then we'll see increasing clouds overnight, perhaps tomorrow morning, some rain showers to the west of Springfield. And as we go through the day and that frontal boundary comes through, we'll see increasing chances of scattered showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon and early evening hours. We'll continue to see some rain chances tomorrow night, but primarily southward as that frontal boundary works its way towards southern Illinois. No severe weather expected tomorrow. That risk will be marginal for locations along and south of I-72. Most of us will see rainfall totals maybe a 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch, but can't rule out a locally heavy downpour with some of the stronger storms. Early morning clouds on Thursday then make way for a decent amount of sunshine on Thursday. For now, though, increasing clouds tonight, maybe some patchy fog overnight with a low of 65. Scattered showers and storms tomorrow. We'll see that high up to 77, and then temperatures slowly climb as we head toward the holiday weekend. Sunshine Thursday afternoon, and other than an isolated shower chance on Friday, we'll generally see quiet weather into the start of the weekend with partly to mostly sunny skies, and then better rain chances coming our way Sunday into Monday as temperatures warm back to the mid-80s.
Okay, I think a lot of people enjoying seeing that sun on Saturday as we get to the 4th of July.
Yeah, and more importantly, hopefully clear to partly cloudy skies by Saturday night for all the red, white, and boom lighting up the sky.
Love it. Okay,
Yes.
thanks. Let's head over to Adam and Donnie.
Thanks, guys. Sports Director Donnie Tillman joining us now. Star David in the sky, our own star here on the ground. A special day at the nation's capital honoring NBA champion.
Yeah, that's right. Springfield's own Andre Iguodala recognized for his accomplishments on the floor. That story and more next in sports.
Now, sports with Donnie Tillman.
Good evening, everyone. Now that the summer is in full swing, it's a great time for the Fighting Illini basketball team to put in the extra work necessary for the upcoming season. Illinois guard Malcolm Hill once talked about the adjustment of getting used to the college game. Now as a junior, Hill is an upperclassman observing the younger players in workouts this offseason. And now a veteran at this level, Hill has offered his advice to the new guys as a whole. Hill and head coach John Gross, I should say, like what they have seen so far from the upcoming roster.
The new guys, they have a lot of heart. You know, they're real confident in their games. Of course, they don't really know the system that much. They do some over, you know, some stuff that's like overboard a little bit. But I mean, that's part of being young, being a freshman. You know, I try to tell them, you know, whenever they get down, like I had a lot of freshman year struggles. I try to remind them to keep their head up. I think that we got a really talented group, though.
I like what I see. The biggest thing I like is for, you know, we've had a lot of guys come back early in between the spring semester and the summer. We've had some guys do that in the past, but not this many.
NBA hoops now. As the NBA free agency period begins at midnight, the Chicago Bulls want to make sure that their all-star guard is in-house come next season. And no, I am not referring to Derrick Rose. The Bulls have offered Jimmy Butler a max deal, 5 years worth $90 million. Since receiving the offer, Butler has postponed meetings with several other NBA teams. It is a sad day for Chicago Blackhawks fans. This afternoon, the Hawks parted ways with 22-year-old rising star Brandon Saad. Chicago deals him and 2 other players to Columbus as part of a 7-player swap. Saad was thought to be a priority to resign this offseason. Other basketball news, NBA champion and finals MVP Andre Iguodala was recognized at the state capitol today. State Representative Sue Shearer presented a resolution to honor the Golden State Warriors forward for his accomplishments. Andre's mother and her husband were on hand for the presentation. Iguodala and the Warriors won the title 2 weeks ago, defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers in 6 games. Today, state officials pleased to honor one of the Capitol's own for his crowning achievement.
Andre Iguodala was named the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player, the first NBA champion and NBA Finals MVP right here from Springfield, Illinois.
Exciting.
It's not often you see a T-shirt in the State House, especially on deadline day, but certainly well earned there as mom's representing her son. Proud moment
and
again.
Son's been very busy. He actually just got back from Paris. He went to the fashion show there. So
not bad, not
making
bad.
rounds.
Don't go away. Joe still has one last look at your Storm Team 20 forecast. Fingers crossed, a nice weekend coming up.
Yes.
Yeah,
we
so
just got to
far,
get through one more day.
Just got to get through tomorrow. The first day of July going to start out just like the month of June. That is with some scattered shower, thunderstorm chances. Maybe an isolated shower or two on Friday. Otherwise, we look to stay dry Thursday, Friday, into Saturday for the start of the 4th of July weekend. Should be a decent night Saturday night for all the red, white, and boom displays around the area. But then rain chances pick back up Sunday into Monday as temperatures warm to the mid-80s early next week.
Big party last weekend for you. Anything coming up this weekend, or are you laying low?
Laying low.
Yeah?
Ours got washed out, our party at the end.
Some recovery maybe this weekend.
Definitely.
I'll look for my invite in the mailbox.
For a second birthday party.
Mine too, don't worry, Dottie. That's our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here tonight at 10. Happening now, the National Transportation Safety Board is moments away from starting a press conference. We're taking a live look at the airport in Bloomington. It comes as they're investigating an early morning plane crash just east of the city. All 7 people on board were killed. National meteorologists say heavy fog meant visibility was less than half a mile early this morning. Just in the last half hour, investigators have released the names of those killed in the plane crash. They are 51-year-old Thomas Heilman of Bloomington, 37-year-old Aaron Leach of Normal, 40-year-old Andrew Butler of Normal, 36-year-old Tori Ward of Normal, 45-year-old Woodrow Jason Jones of Bloomington, and 64-year-old Terry Strelo of Bloomington, as well as 42-year-old Scott Bittner of Towanda. Airport officials last heard from the plane around 12:15 early this morning. The plane was reported missing at 1:45 a.m. The crash location was discovered about 2 hours later, just 2 miles from the Central Illinois Regional Airport. Investigators say those on board were returning from the NCAA basketball championship game in Indianapolis. We'll bring you the NTSB press conference live when it begins right here on News Channel 20 at 6. Well, it is Election Day in Illinois. If you haven't cast your ballot yet, you better hurry.
Yeah, the polls close at 7, meaning that you have, about an hour left to get to the polls and vote.
One of the biggest contests we're following tonight, who will succeed Mike Houston as Springfield's next mayor? We have team coverage of the race. Eric Feldman is live at the State House Inn. That's where Jim Langfelder's camp will be tonight. We'll check in with Eric in just a moment, but first, we start with Jordan Abadea. She's live at Paul Palazzolo's headquarters on 5th Street. Jordan?
Adam, a year of campaigning all comes down to tonight for Paul Palazzolo. He was the first to enter the race a little more than a year ago, and today voting was a family affair as he, his wife, and his daughter all cast their ballots early this morning. Paul Palazzolo says he's confident that Springfield will think that he is the one for the job. He says there was a burst of motivation in these last weeks as he racked up endorsements from former Governor Jim Edgar and former Sheriff Neil Williamson. We have seen the campaign take a negative turn, though, recently with mailings in these final weeks, and Palazzolo says there are comparative facts for voters to look at. He says he's confident in the way he's run his campaign.
It's important to continue to work hard right up until the very last opportunity, and that's how we'll lead serving as mayor of the city of Springfield. You need to fight for Springfield to move forward, and the way that we've run the campaign is how we'll help lead the city of Springfield.
Palazzolo says that he'll be working until the last minute to make sure that people know that he is the best candidate for the job. Paul Palazzolo and his supporters will be at the Route 66 Hotel today, hopefully celebrating what they think will be a win for Paul. And now our team coverage will continue with Eric Feldman, who's live at the State House Inn, where Jim Langfelder's campaign will be spending the night. Eric?
Jordan, the calls have been made, the door knocking all complete, and this sticker was actually given out by the Langfelder camp to people in order to try and get them to go out and vote today. Jim Langfelder voted himself at 10:30 this morning, but it's not the only time that he was out at the polls. This afternoon, Langfelder accompanied his father, former Springfield Mayor Ozzie Langfelder, who occupied the seat from 1987 to 1995, as he casted his ballot for this election. The former mayor says he's proud of his son and that he ran a great campaign, quipping that it was a better campaign than any of his. And Jim Langfelder says he thinks back to those days on his big night.
We're going door to door, handing out the flyers, and he said, you know, we've done everything we could, and as long as you do that, that's all that matters. And that's where we're at in this campaign.
I wished him a lot of luck. No one realizes how difficult the job is, but he'll do a great job.
Jim Langfelder says he's learned from the best, talking about his father. The advice Ozzie Langfelder gave him, be humble. The elder Langfelder added that Springfield will be proud of his son if they elect him mayor. Jim Langfelder says he's done all he can do as the polls are closing in just about an hour. We'll be here at the State House Inn as the results come through. Reporting live from the State House Inn, Eric Feldman, News Channel 20.
Well, Springfield Mayor is just one of the many offices up for grabs tonight in Sangamon County, and the county clerk says that today's rain shouldn't stop a similar voter turnout to years past. News Channel 20's Brett Baldick joins us now live from a polling location at Union Baptist Church in Springfield with more on if the election day is going as planned today. Brett.
Maggie, polling locations are preparing for that all-important after-work rush. You can see here at Union Baptist Church, unfortunately, there's nobody voting right now, but polling locations throughout Sangamon County are expecting voter turnout to pick up as we approach the 7 o'clock hour. Now, there are 81 polling locations throughout Sangamon County, and County Clerk Don Gray says there have been no issues today. At last check, voter turnout at 4 o'clock was at 20%. Gray says that is lower than expected. He believes the foggy weather this morning did have an impact on turnout. The second rush is expected during this last hour. Gray says if there is a line, you will still have a chance to vote.
If you are in line to receive a ballot when the polls close at 7 o'clock, you will still be able to vote even if there is a line. An election judge will come to the end of the line at 7 o'clock and say, this is the last voter, and we'll definitely be able to service that voter.
Gray says he does expect a long night for his crew. The mayor's race is very tight and ballots could still be counted around 10 o'clock this evening. Now, Gray also told us that there is a rapid response team ready to go to help count those ballots as quickly as possible. Reporting live in Springfield, Brett Baldeck, News Channel 20.
We saw a little bit of rain in our southern counties this morning, otherwise some widespread fog during the afternoon hours, so some lower turnouts in the morning, but you can see there's a little bit of sunshine peeking its head out even into our evening hours. Temperatures right now, not too bad. In fact, still in the 70s in Jacksonville and Springfield, otherwise 60s for everyone else across central and eastern Illinois, but it is a muggy one out there. Some dew points already above the 60 mark. You can feel that humidity in the air. Again, some rain showers did make its way across our extreme southern counties, otherwise just that fog in the morning. Not too bad of a day overall, but our thunderstorm chances are going to increase into the overnight hours, just a slight chance tonight, and then they really start to ramp up the next two evenings. We'll break down the main risks you should be aware of over the next 2 days. That's all coming up in your Storm Team forecast in just a little bit.
Thank you, Thomas. Continuing coverage now of a story we first brought you this morning and have been following all day. 7 people are dead after an overnight plane crash east of Bloomington. The plane took off late Monday night from Indianapolis and was reported missing early this morning. The crash site found a little before 4 a.m. just miles from the Central Illinois Regional Airport in Bloomington. The McLean County Sheriff's Office says the Cessna plane was returning from the NCAA basketball championship last night in Indianapolis. Among the 7 passengers, 2 members of the Illinois State University Athletic Department, including an associate basketball coach. Right now, we're looking at a live press conference held by the National Transportation Safety Board at the Central Illinois Regional Airport. Let's listen in.
The Federal Aviation Administration. We've had excellent support on site here at the airport, local law enforcement. We really appreciate all the site security. The local coroner's office has produced their investigation and done their investigation. I don't answer questions about family members or passengers or names or anything like that. So all those type of questions can be directed to the coroner's office. Again, my job as the lead or the air safety investigator or investigator in charge of the event is to perform the on-site investigation. Part of the NTSB's mission is to collect aviation-related data to increase our to identify any potential safety concerns that might arise from this accident investigation, but also to produce a probable cause of the accident. During the preliminary stages of the investigation, I do not answer questions about probable cause or make any kind of conclusions. We're in the fact-gathering stage of the investigation. The investigation is just beginning. After arriving on site, I met real quickly with local airport officials as well as local law enforcement, fire department. Then we went out to the accident site, and my preliminary duties at the accident site is to ascertain if all the components of the aircraft made it to the accident site, because if they didn't, then we have to expand our search to find certain aircraft components that may be missing. In this event, the aircraft wreckage, the main wreckage site, contained all of the aircraft components. There was a limited wreckage debris field with all the wreckage, with primary constructional components of the wreckage either remaining already attached to the airframe or were found within one wingspan of the main wreckage. So this is not a widespread accident location. I understand that the media wanted to get out there and see the accident, and today with the fog and being in the field, you guys didn't get the opportunity. So it is a limited wreckage debris field, approximately the width of the wingspan of the aircraft. After ascertaining that we had the four corners of the aircraft, which is nose, tail, left wing, right wing, both engines, both propellers were located, as well as the cabin components of the aircraft, my job focused changed to the recovery of the wreckage so we could do a more controlled, do our examination in a more controlled environment. The aircraft, I worked with local resources to get the aircraft recovered, and it's in the process of being recovered as we speak. And it's going to be recovered to a secured hangar here at the airport where we will be evaluating the wreckage over the next few days.
Again, that is a live look at the press conference held by the National Transportation Safety Board regarding the deadly plane crash outside Bloomington. We do have teams in Bloomington tonight, and we'll have an update at 10 o'clock. Among those killed in the crash, two members of the Illinois State University Athletic Department. The athletic department naming Deputy Athletic Director Aaron Leach and Associate Men's Basketball Coach Tori Ward as two of the victims. Illinois State University President Larry Dietz releasing a statement today that says in part, quote, "Words cannot fully express the grief that is felt in the wake of such a tragedy. We move between shock and profound sadness. At times like these, we may even question our deeply held beliefs and wonder what the future will hold. It is important to remember that we are never alone in our grief. A great many resources are available to help us cope with their loss in the coming days, weeks, and months." Donnie Tillman will have more reaction from the ISU Athletic Department later in sports.
Also new at 6 today, investigators in Decatur have identified the city's first murder victim of the year. The body of 19-year-old Paige Mars was found around 8 Monday morning near the Lake Decatur Dam. Macon County Coroner says that Mars was killed by several gunshots to the head and chest. Now, if you know anything about the murder, Decatur police would like to hear from you. An affirmative action audit in the capital city offering mixed results tonight. The report shows minority hiring is up almost 10% from numbers 4 years ago, though those figures are still lower than the percentage of Springfield's minority population. The audit shows that female hires have also dropped a tick, but Springfield Mayor Mike Houston says that he believes that the city has done its part to improve its place in hiring minorities.
I think that we have made progress, and if the city continues to make that type of progress over a period of time, those numbers will adjust themselves, but this is not something that's going to happen overnight.
Springfield's Human Resources Department says that women make up more than a fifth of the city's workforce and minorities just under 10%. Still ahead, thousands of dollars in coins. How much the TSA says passengers left behind at airport security last year. Still to come, what's actually going to happen to all of that money?
And later, we'll tell you why a pair of pretzels got together for the first time on the baseball diamond. Donnie Tillman has that story and more coming up in sports.
Almost $750,000. That's how much the TSA says passengers left behind at airports last year while going through security.
The report from the Transportation Security Administration says the final figure checked in at $675,000. That's actually up from $640,000 in 2013. All of that money is kept by the TSA and it's used as extra funding.
Quote, rip the economic guts out of Indiana, end quote. Those are the harsh words from Governor Bruce Rauner. Rauner said those words to the Chicago Tribune's editorial board on Monday. Now, it comes amid an economic rivalry between Illinois and Indiana that started in 2011 when officials in the Hoosier state started a campaign to bring Illinois businesses to Indiana following Illinois' decision to increase its corporate tax rate.
Farmers and ranchers around Illinois are getting ready to start planting this year's crops. A new report from the USDA says farmers all over the state are now set to go because spring is here to stay. That work will include fixing equipment and applying necessary chemicals to and plowing their fields. While farmers still need to prepare the soil, the Sangamon County Farm Bureau suggests farm grounds are already in good shape following the winter season.
They come through the winter good. We had a good winter. We had freezing and thawing, and so it made the ground real mellow. And for the most part, it's working down real nice. Looks like we'll go in with a good seed bed to plant in.
Beatty says it's too early to predict how this coming planting season will turn out. Those projections are usually made around July or August.
Well, taking a live look at the capital city, things finally clearing up after a day of clouds and rain. Thomas Patrick, he's in next. He's going to let us know if we can actually expect a sunny start to the day tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at today's closing market numbers.
Now, your Storm Team 20 forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick.
A little bit of sunshine late this afternoon. That really jumped our temperatures from the low 60s to the mid 70s in a hurry, but it doesn't dilute the fact that it was a muggy day this afternoon. You can see that by that low temperature. 58 was the overnight low. And those with the fog this morning, you know that the dew points are right there as well, and that's where they're still at right now. Temperatures, in fact, still in the 70s in Jacksonville and Springfield, otherwise mainly 60s for everyone else across central and eastern Illinois. 65 in Litchfield, 68 in Lincoln, 66 in Champaign right now, 64 right now in Danville. We're keeping an eye on these dew points because that's the humidity factor in the atmosphere. They're getting close to the 60 mark, so you can really feel it outside, that stickiness, that humidity in the atmosphere. Not only does it feel a tad uncomfortable, but it's a main fuel source for these thunderstorms. But we didn't get any today. Most of that got used well off to our south, just some rain activity in our far southern counties along the I-70 corridor. But otherwise, starting to see some sunshine developing off to the west as the sun is now setting. Again, those strong thunderstorms well off to our south, but with the humidity still in place, still got that chance for showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight as these little waves ride along the stationary boundary just off to our north, and that's what gives us that spark to see some of these showers and thunderstorms. So a little bit of shower activity starting to develop in our overnight hour. A better chance for those thunderstorms after the midnight hour, though, and our model's keeping it mostly to the north, but we could see some rumbles of thunder by the morning hours. Check out Wednesday, another mostly sunny day, in fact, but the temperature is still warm and the humidity still in place. It's fuel for those thunderstorms. Here comes the next round into the early evening hours on Wednesday with this next wave that passes across the area. Those storms actually firing up across Missouri could carry some strong storms into our neck of the woods. And then on Thursday morning, another wave of energy moving through. This is not going to be severe, but it's adding more rain and more moisture to the ground. So now the heat really building, all that moisture building over the next 3 days. That's all the energy we need. And here's the spark that's all going to set it on fire. This very powerful cold front moving through the area in the late afternoon to early evening hours on Thursday. Our model not handling this very well. It's only got these minor showers across our area. So I'm actually looking to a different model for a better depiction. This is the North American model, and this is a way better visual of what this is going to look like on Thursday afternoon and early evening. There's that cold front, and all these little red spots are each individual thunderstorm cells likely to be both strong and severe, all types of severe weather possible with this threat on Thursday. Here is our severe weather outlook. Some thunderstorms could be strong or severe on Wednesday evening, but it's Thursday that has a much better chance with that powerful cold front. I said it, all types of severe weather possible, including gusty winds, large hail, and a few isolated or embedded tornadoes within that line I just showed you earlier. Breaking it down graphically, high winds and large hail will still be the primary threats, but again, an isolated tornado or two not out of the question with this forecast. So for tonight, just that scattered chance for a few thunderstorms across the area, mainly after midnight. Could see a few showers beforehand. Tomorrow, actually get some sunshine in the day, and then that evening chance for thunderstorms not only Wednesday, but on Thursday, both those evening hours could see strong to severe thunderstorms as this cold front makes its way across the area. And that's the forecast part of this segment, but coming up on Wednesday at 6:30, we're going to be talking about how to keep you prepared and safe during these thunderstorms. So make sure you join us for keeping you safe in a storm. Wednesday at 6:30 right here on News Channel 20.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. And of course, we will, stay tuned to your forecast, and you can do that online, of course.
And on Facebook, Twitter, and our website. So many ways to get this information.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. Right now, let's check in with Adam and Donnie.
Thanks, Maggie. Sports Director Donnie Tillman joining us now, and it's signing day for a whole bunch of Riverton Prep stars.
Yeah, you could say they're kind of leaving the nest, so to speak, Adam. 8 student athletes signed their John Hancock on the dotted line this afternoon. I'll tell you where they're headed for the fall next in sports.
Isn't it Herbie Hancock?
Yeah, something like that.
Now, sports with Donnie Tillman.
Good evening, everyone. The campus of Illinois State University is mourning the loss of members of the Redbird family at this time. A plane crashed early Tuesday morning just miles from Bloomington Central Illinois Regional Airport. Passengers on that plane include associate men's basketball coach Tori Ward and Deputy Director of Athletics Aaron Leach. Ward joined the ISU basketball staff in 2012. The two were returning from the NCAA Men's Final Four in Indianapolis. Illinois State Athletic Director Larry Lyons released the following statement today. The Redbird family and the Bloomington Normal community has suffered a terrible loss today. Our hearts go out to the families and loved ones of those involved. There is no play in the playbook for times like these. We will miss Aaron and Tori deeply, and we will support their families in any way that we can to honor their individual and collective legacies. We will move the Redbirds and our community forward. To prep baseball this afternoon now, it's Pretzels versus Pretzels as Freeport visits New Berlin in the inaugural Pretzel Challenge. Bottom of the third inning, Jose Parga singles to center field, driving in a run. New Berlin down 6-1 at this point. To the top of the fourth inning we would go for the visitors. It's Travis Buckwalter who lines one to left field for a double. That plates two for Freeport as they would take an 8-1 lead. Bottom of the fourth inning now, Jake Hunt at the plate. Grounds into the 4-3 putout, but Jason Cross scores from third on the play. Freeport, however, takes the win by a score of 10-3. At Riverton High School this afternoon, a number of Hawks sign on the dotted line to leave the nest and compete in athletics at the collegiate level. In all, 8 students signed letters of intent this afternoon. Stephanie Miser signs with Quincy Volleyball. Alex Bogus heads to Lindenwood University in Missouri for volleyball. Austin Landis will play football at Monmouth. Morgan Heckman and Megan Abushan signs with Lincoln Land softball. Joey McLaughlin will cheer at Ren Lake. Lindsey Pearson will play soccer at Southwestern. Kirsten Berg heads to Blackburn for softball. Congrats to all 8 athletes that signed this afternoon.
I like that pretzel bowl.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
You can do a lot of things with the signs there. Your pretzels are soft.
They were actually selling T-shirts for both schools.
Yeah. It's
something about the salt.
It's something about the salt. You can do all sorts of wordplay. I just can't believe not only did one school think pretzels was an adequate mascot, 2 of them said, yeah.
They're the only 2 in the state.
All right, we'll be right back. Thomas still has a final look at your 7-day forecast after the break.
And a reminder for you to join the No Tech Zone. Take the pledge at WICS.com and help keep Central Illinois roads safe. We're back in a moment.
Exciting news for all our viewers in the Champaign, Urbana, Rantoul, Danville, and East Central Illinois areas tonight. Our Champaign team is launching its primetime newscast tonight at 9 on Fox Illinois. Join Doug Quick, Janice Harris, and the new Fox Illinois Champaign crew for a live look at election results in East Central Illinois. Then at 10, come on back to News Channel 20 for more live election results and a recap of the top races. I know it'll be busy tonight as far as election results go, but weather-wise, it's going to be a busy few days for you, too.
Yeah, let's try to break it down. You got a chance tonight, got a chance tomorrow night, got a chance Thursday morning, and then one final chance on Thursday evening. Did you get that all straight?
Yeah, we got it. We'll keep in touch. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tonight at 10. Now we return you to regularly scheduled programming, Entertainment Tonight.
Coming to Central Illinois, why a former U.S. president is expected here tomorrow and the topics he'll be talking about. Plus, after a fire disrupted air travel at both of Chicago's major airports, and as a result here in Springfield, the latest on the repairs there tonight and what the FAA is doing now.
One thunderstorm this afternoon brings a tornado to our viewing area. More storms are possible tonight. I'll tell you what the concern is and when it all ends coming up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Liz Foster in for Vince and Maggie. Our top story tonight, obviously the weather. As you just mentioned, we've had a tornado touchdown. Lots of watches and warnings throughout the afternoon. Are we in the clear right now?
Yeah, well, the good news, this is calming down quickly. So the severe weather threat has now pushed into our eastern counties here, and even that threat's ending soon here tonight. Here's what we're looking at outside right now. A lot of clouds, as you can see, and a little bit of break in the clouds there as well. And here's that severe weather threat right now. So this is DeWitt County, still Macon County, Piatt County, Shelby, Moultrie County, Effingham County as well. But the real severe weather threat right now really sliding east of there. So the rest of us now are no longer under this tornado watch. This goes until 10 p.m., but I think it's going to get canceled early here this evening. So if you have concerns about severe weather, you're probably okay. But showers and thunderstorms are still in the region. But look at this now, sliding east of I-57 as you look to the west, some breaks in the rain, showers, thunderstorms possible this evening still for all of us. But the main threat this evening, or at least the latter part of the evening and into the overnight hours, will be just more rainfall. And rain could still be heavy at times. There's your first forecast. Rain likely again tomorrow. Temperatures only in the upper 50s. Now today's storms did produce at least one tornado. The Macon County Sheriff's Office says the tornado touched down near Route 36 and 121 south of the Decatur Airport. News Channel 20 Chantel Middleton joins us live from there. Chantel, what's going on now?
Hey Rick, we're at Route 36, Mount Zion Road in Decatur. Lots of things like this plastic thrown around by the wind. Let me show you around here. This is the McDonald's drive-through. Couple trees fell over, blocked off this driveway. It's been blocked off for quite some time. The restaurant still open though, still taking in customers. If you are thinking Arby's, maybe you might want to think about it a little bit later in the day. They're closed for now. Take a look. A shed over here, blown over. All of the employees, the managers tell me about 7 of them, had to come out, pick up everything around that area. Those employees are now inside drying off, but the restaurant, it's closed, and it probably will be for much of what's left in the day. One more thing here, a little bit more damage. This traffic light here at this intersection. Most of the traffic lights here in Decatur working just fine. If you come through this intersection, though, you want to take a lot of caution. Power lines down. The only other thing that we need to warn you about is flooded roads. Be on the lookout for those. Lots of water. You want to go extra slow whenever you can. For now, we are live in Decatur. Chantel Middleton, ABC News Channel 20.
Thanks, Chantel. Heavy rain today and falling leaves, not a good combination for storm drains across central Illinois. Public Works crews were out here in Springfield unclogging drains with vacuum trucks. Springfield has a history of flooding during heavy rainstorms, and that's why the city's Public Works director is asking residents to make sure storm drains in front of your homes stay clear.
We try to do our best to stay on top of that, but there's just we only have so many resources, so many crews that can get out there and do that. And like you said, with the leaves falling this time of year, it's really a challenge for everybody.
If you spot flooding in your Springfield neighborhood, you're asked to call the Public Works 24-hour hotline. The number there on your screen, 789-2246. And remember, you can stay connected with News Channel 20 on air and online for the latest weather updates. That includes the iRadar on our website. There you can see firsthand if severe weather is heading your way. Just head to WICS.com and look under the Weather tab. Students, faculty, and community members are gathering at Illinois College this week to hear several renowned speakers address issues in the Middle East. News Channel 20's Adam Reif is live in Jacksonville tonight. And Adam, among the speakers, a former president of the United States.
That's right, Liz. We'll hear from President Carter tomorrow. Today it was all about the dedication of the new archive system. It was actually so crowded inside, and still is, we decided to step outside while the speakers were going on. But this comes thanks to a huge donation from Dr. Khalif Al-Habtour, a businessman from the United Arab Emirates. He's a longtime friend of Congressman Paul Finley, himself an Illinois College graduate. So that is the connection there. Officials that I spoke to here at the college say it's not just about the old books and about the old archive system. It's about new technology. It's about using this technology for the future, about getting people excited to come to Illinois College.
It's not just about our old documents and our old books. It's really about the opportunities that we can provide for our students who work here, who research here, and who can use these documents in their classes and in their research, and to hopefully go on to careers.
Now, there are demonstrations going on right now inside of some of that new technology that's available. It's so crowded, as we said, we decided to step out. But we mentioned earlier, this is part of a two-day event here at Illinois College, part of the peace discussions that will be going on. Dr. Al-Habtour invited his friend, President Carter, to speak. He'll be here tomorrow. As we said, we'll have full coverage as well. But right now, everybody's excited about the archive system, about the new technology, and about the gift from Dr. Al-Habtour. Liz?
Thanks so much, Adam. Coming up tonight on Nightside, we'll hear from college officials about what they're doing to prepare for Mr. Carter's visit. We'll also have full coverage of the visit tomorrow. Continuing coverage on the Chicago Land Control Center, where damage delayed and even stopped flights at O'Hare and Midway airports. The FAA says tonight all air traffic operations are up and running. Investigators say a former employee cut cables and set fire to a basement at the tower in Aurora on September 26th. The FAA is now reviewing security at all its major facilities. New at 6, we now know the name of a Springfield woman who died this morning after falling from a vehicle on Cook Street. It's a story we first told you about as breaking news this morning. Investigators say 24-year-old Nishika Shepard died at Mayoral Medical Center just before 3:15 this morning. That's almost an hour after she fell from the vehicle on Cook Street at the Eastdale intersection. Investigators are still looking into why Shepard fell out of the car. Also new at 6, investigators say criminal charges will not be filed after a Taylorville Middle School student claimed a staffer pushed him by the throat. It's a story we first brought you last month. The Christian County State's Attorney's Office said they didn't see anything criminal on surveillance tape. The student's father tells News Channel 20 he plans on moving with his son to South Carolina, where they're from. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and tonight in Clinton, Dove Inc. will hold a candlelight vigil, raising awareness for the problem and remembering those who've lost their lives as a result. It starts at 6:30 at Clinton United Methodist Church. Another one is set for Thursday at 7 in Decatur at Prairie Avenue Christian Church in Decatur.
Take a stand against it. Come and show your support for the survivors and respect and for the victims and what they went through. I've never met anybody stronger than a victim of domestic violence, for sure.
Organizers say Decatur is the second leading city of domestic violence in Illinois. Still ahead, bringing Catholics back to church. The event designed to do just that and the changes the church's leaders are now considering. And the St. Louis Cardinals are in San Francisco preparing for Game 3 of the NLCS tomorrow. Sports Director Donnie Tillman has more on the Redbirds later in sports. Welcome back. A new survey shows the number of people attending Mass at Catholic churches is dwindling. Some say it has to do with resistance to change in the church, specifically regarding the lesbian, bi, gay, and transsexual community. News Channel 20's Brett Baldock joins us live outside the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Springfield with more on a vigil that started just a few minutes ago. Brett?
Liz, there is a small group of people gathered behind me. Hopefully you can see them for tonight's vigil. They all have the same message of acceptance by the church among the LGBT community. Now, this is one of several vigils going on across the country tonight, and organizers say they picked Springfield for a very specific reason. The practice of Springfield's Catholic diocese not pleasing the LGBT community.
About a year ago, there was the exorcism against the quote-unquote sin of same-sex marriage, and that really stung on a very personal level for me.
It was the breaking point for John Fremmel. He left his Catholic church to attend service at Holy Family Inclusive Catholic Community. According to a survey sanctioned by the church of active and inactive members, there has been a 30% decline in attendance at weekend Mass since 1996. Fremmel believes the church not accepting the LGBT community may be to blame.
Probably, I think that's the primary reason, but of course, Catholics just simply don't agree with the hierarchy on a lot of social teachings, not only on LGBT issues, but on contraception or on women's ordination.
I actually don't think that Cardinal Paprocki is absolutely totally out of touch with the hierarchy of the United States Catholic Church. I do think he's out of touch with the laity and the body of the church.
But change could be coming. Catholic bishops meeting at the Vatican have called for the church to welcome and accept gay people, unmarried couples, and those who have been divorced. It's something members of the Human Rights Campaign who traveled from Washington, D.C. hope will trickle down to the capital city.
We hope that Cardinal Paprocki pays attention to our prayers, that he listens to what it is that we have to say. So when he is discerning, he goes through the same journey that Cardinal Bergoglio went when he became Pope Francis.
Now, we did reach out to several area Catholic churches today for comment, but did not hear back. Bishop Paprocki says he will not comment about attendance until a public forum about his study on November 24th. We are live in Springfield. Brett Baldock, News Channel 20.
Thanks, Brett. Taking a live look at downtown Springfield. Skies have cleared up just a little bit. We did have a gloomy and rainy start to the week, though. Rick will be back next, and he'll let us know when we can expect some nicer weather ahead. But first, here are today's closing market numbers.
Hey, look at that sunshine coming out there. Also getting some reports of rainbows now after the thunderstorms push through here. That severe weather threat has come to an end for all of our viewing area now. So that severe weather threat, as we told you earlier, really east of I-57. I thought this would get canceled early, and they did just cancel it, so that's good. So if you have outside plans tonight, you still have that risk of a shower or maybe even a thunderstorm, but the severe weather risk now has come to an end for our viewing area. And as we look around here, we have scattered showers, a few thunderstorms still here and there, more rain out to the west as well. But in our viewing area right now, the heaviest rain around Sullivan, Hammond, now east of Decatur, although there is still some rain around Decatur. Of course, we had a tornado touchdown just on the eastern edge of Decatur earlier, and that did produce some damage there. We're continuing to survey that and find out exactly what all happened there, and we'll have more on that throughout the evening here tonight. As you look around Taylorville and Illiopolis right now, dry conditions there, so there are breaks in the rain, but there's a big area of low pressure out here. It's cut off from the jet stream. We call this a cutoff low. It's down here just spinning around and tapping into a ton of moisture. That low-level jet stream just feeding us moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, giving us really good rain chances here and some thunderstorms. Now, there are storm chances this evening, so more storms could break out, especially as you look back here to the southwest. But overnight, it's mainly rain our concern, and then tomorrow just rain. Rain will continue until Wednesday as well. Already almost an inch of rain in Springfield, over an inch of rain in Taylorville, and in Litchfield, Effingham, 1.12 inches of rain. Decatur, almost an inch in Lincoln. So we are really piling up that rain. Of course, we don't need the rain at this point, but here it comes anyway. Low temperatures or high temperatures are current temperatures, I should say, in the low, mid, and upper 60s right now. Jacksonville, you're the warm spot at 68, 65 in Decatur, 63 in Taylorville, Springfield and Lincoln, both 66 degrees. It's breezy outside. Winds here 15, pushing 20 miles per hour. Winds at times up to 25 miles per hour. So it is a breezy evening here tonight. Our forecast model shows the occasional showers, maybe some thunderstorms this evening, overnight. Rain chances tomorrow. Rain chances continue, all moving around low pressure. And those rain chances will be here again on Wednesday. Our high temperature today, 69 degrees, 58 our low, 68 and 44 are the normals for this time of the year. All right, our forecast then for tonight, cloudy skies, this chance of showers and thunderstorms this evening. Then overnight, it's just rainfall. Our low temperature tonight will fall to around 59 degrees. Now tomorrow, more clouds and more rain chances. Rain likely again here tomorrow, so we'll pile up more rain, keep filling up that rain gauge. 61 for the high tomorrow, so tomorrow will be a cooler day. Winds not as breezy tomorrow, blowing from the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's look ahead here and see when we see a return of some sunshine. It's not tomorrow, it's not Wednesday. Wednesday, cloudy skies. We'll drop the rain chance a little bit, but still see occasional showers. Temperatures continue to cool off on Wednesday as well. 58 for the high temperature. But by Thursday and Friday, the sun returns, and then we'll start a little warm up. Seasonal temperatures in the upper 60s on both days. And let's talk weekend. The weekend looking pretty decent here. Partly cloudy skies, maybe a few more clouds and sun on Saturday, and a high of 64. Sunday, partly cloudy and 60. And then we cool down again. Monday, we'll see sunshine. Temperatures only in the upper 50s. That is about 10 degrees below normal, but it'll be nice to get some dry weather, and it all starts on Thursday.
Thanks so much, Rick. Sports Director Donnie Tillman joins us now. A soggy day outside for area golfers hoping to swing their clubs to the state.
Yeah, my shoes are still wet. Monsoon type weather up north, but the girls were able to get on the course today. Details ahead next in sports. Good evening, everyone. It's off to San Fran for the next 3 games. Status update on Yadier Molina, who left Sunday's game in the 6th inning with an oblique injury. Yadi did take the team flight to the Bay Area today. He played catch today. Molina did not rule out playing tomorrow, but says it might be more beneficial to contribute in some sort of other fashion, perhaps pinch hitting. The mood in San Francisco, a lot different thanks to one swing of the bat from Cardinals rookie Kolten Wong. Wong's walk-off home run in the 9th inning Sunday night tied the National League Championship Series at 1 game apiece. Certainly a Hawaiian punch everyone in Cardinals Nation can enjoy.
Oh, definitely a top. To hit a home run at this stage, you know, especially a walk-off home run, it was definitely my top home run I think I've hit ever.
NFL football now. The Chicago Bears continue to handle their business on the road in 2014. The Bears even their record at 3-3 after Sunday's 27-13 win over the Atlanta Falcons. Jay Cutler had his second-best passing game of his career, throwing for 381 yards and a touchdown. Matt Forte added a pair of second-half rushing touchdowns. And how about that defense? 4 sacks on Atlanta quarterback Matt Ryan.
I think that the guys on the defensive line and the back end really wrapped their arms around those young linebackers, and they played hard. They were in the right place. We asked them to just do your job, not do anything more than that. They played exceptionally hard, and our entire defense and coaching staff deserve a lot of credit.
The Bears host the Miami Dolphins Sunday at noon. Hey, Week 6 can't be complete without Monday Night Football, and tonight the 3-2 Niners pay a visit to the 1-3 St. Louis Rams. Kickoff is at 7:30. To boys golf at the AA Boys Golf Sectional in Champaign, the Centennial Boys team moves on to state this weekend. So does Sam Funderburg and Austin Plum of Springfield High. Lincoln's Jordan Perry moving on as well. And if he had plans to play golf this week, he might just want to leave the clubs inside. A very wet and rainy day for the boys and girls today who were swinging for a chance at state this weekend. The Class A boys dealing with the elements at the Brimfield Sectional. Today's play suspended due to heavy rain and lightning throughout the round today. Play will resume starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Hopefully my shoes are dried out by then.
Yeah, that Bears-Falcons game was a tough one for me to watch as a Falcons fan.
Yeah, no one really has any sympathy for you.
I know. I don't get anything from anybody right here.
Hey, we'll take the win. You have an 8% chance of making the playoffs, by the way.
Well, thanks for that. Well, don't go anywhere. Rick is going to have one more look at your forecast when we come back. But don't forget to join the No Tech Zone. You can take the pledge at WICS.com and help keep Central Illinois safe. You're watching News Channel 20 at 6. A stormy afternoon, and we know that most of it has moved out. Are we in the clear?
Yeah, there goes that line of storms that you see east of our viewing area. That's where the severe threat is. More storms out to the west possible this evening, but we see more rain chances tomorrow and Wednesday. Severe weather threat, not a concern tonight.
All right, thanks so much, Rick. We'll see you back here tonight at 10. Have a great evening.